Marriage is not to be entered into lightly, but thoughtfully, seriously, and with a deep realization of the obligations and responsibilities. Please remember that love, loyalty, and understanding are the foundations of a happy and enduring home. And on that note, I would love to share a story about the first time I visited Jenny and Ryan in their shared home. I very clearly remember when Jenny started telling me about Ryan, but it wasn't until the first time I visited them at their home together in Redondo Beach that I got to see firsthand how sweetly dedicated Ryan was to her. We all ate together, and then Jenny and I settled in for a Schitt's Creek binge session. When we suddenly heard the sounds of vacuuming, I laughed and asked, "Is he cleaning right now?" She smiled with a sense of familiarity and said, "He's probably cleaning my car." When he came back in, he confirmed he had, in fact, decided to clean her car just for fun. Besides thinking that was sweet in the moment, we didn't talk about it, I didn't think too hard about it, but afterwards, I think I realized why this stood out in my mind. I think that's what love is. When doing a literal chore becomes something fun and enjoyable because you're doing something for your person. I think that's what love is. Now, before we proceed, if anyone has any objections to this union, we sincerely hope you've enjoyed your visit to Palm Springs. And we kindly invite you to explore Joshua Tree on your way out.
Lay your head down on my shoulder, honey, I won't ever let go. Because you pulled me like a magnet, now I'm right where I belong. I'm gonna love you the same for the rest of my days, and on and on and on. 'Cause as long as we keep dancing, we'll stay young at heart. And every time I hold you in my arms, you give me deja vu. Like I've been waiting my whole life to find that view. 'Cause when I'm looking at your eyes, I go from California to Timbuktu, back to dancing in the living room. If I got you, baby, every day's a honeymoon.
My whole heart will be yours forever. This is a beautiful start to a lifelong love letter. Tell the world we finally got it all right. I choose you. I will become yours, and you will become mine. We're not perfect. We will learn from our mistakes. And as long as it takes, I will prove my love to you. I'm not scared. I'm a little bit unprepared, but I am willing, and even better, I get to be the other half of you.
Listen now to your mind. When it tells you to do what your heart says to do, don't be shy. Finally, we'll see. We will do what we please without blood, sweat, and tears. Fine by me. It's hard to tell where I'm going most days. I know it's gonna take some time. I will do what I have to find love. I will find you.
Ryan, do you take Jenny to be your lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold, in sickness and in health, in good times and bad, for richer or poorer, even if the Giants beat the 49ers, for as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Jenny, do you take Ryan to be your lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold, in sickness and in health, in good times and bad, for richer or poorer, even on days he will not listen to Taylor Swift, for as long as you both shall live?
I do.
We set out at the first light. We lit up with the sunrise. Gets my heartbeat running wild when you're here by my side. And we'll dream out loud. Take our chance, take it now. We will go from this day on. Take this.
To think this just all started just 7.3 miles down the road. Not like anybody counted or anything. You were a stranger sitting at the dining room table in our Friends of Friends stagecoach house, nervously playing with your hair, as this was your first time not only going to a country festival, but also meeting all but one person in the house. This is one of those one defining moments that I, for one, knew my life was about to change forever. Throughout the next couple of years, we remained friends and what we described as concert buddies. Anytime there was a good country concert in town, our stagecoach house would get together again and relive those fun times we always knew had. There was even one concert on the beach that halfway through we found ourselves sharing a beanbag, and I think we both thought, do I like my friend? Even though we may have mutually felt that way, this isn't where our story ends. Fast forward a couple years, with it all coming together again in 2019 at yet again, of all places, Stagecoach. I was excited to see everyone and let loose since I had missed a couple years. But when I first saw you, I found myself wanting to spend every single second with you. Any chance or excuse I could use to get you away from the group and get some alone time, trust me, I've tried. I've really tried. You know, beer run. Jenny, would you please go with me? Oh, you have to go to the bathroom? I will gladly walk you and go wait for you. Leonard Skinner's on the side stage. You want to come with me? I think everybody gets where I'm going with this. Though it wasn't until the last night. The festival was coming to an end with one of your favorite DJs sending off the crowd. We had made a deal that if you'd come to one of my favorite artists, that I'd come to the finale with you, but I mean, come on, it was a win-win. I was going regardless, I think, but I didn't have to let you know that yet. Then toward the middle of the set, in one of the driest places in the world, it started to rain. No one cared though. No one let it ruin the mood, and that's when I looked over at you. You had your hands in the air, a huge smile on your face, dancing the night away, oblivious to the rain, zero worries in the world. You looked like you were in your element, and you just looked so happy. And that was the moment I had fallen in love with you. Babe, you may think that I get annoyed when you ask me to tell you stories, but I'll happily tell you this one. Any chance I'll get, I'll happily remind you of the memory I cherish the most between us. This is the very foundation of my love for you, why I appreciate you and never, ever, will ever take you for granted and what we have. Your love is precious to me, and truly every day I can feel how much you love me. You're my best friend, my support system, my reason for wanting to be the best version of myself. I'm not sure what I did to deserve you in this wonderful and fun life we have together, but I promise to always work at showing you how much you mean to me. I promise to always be supportive, just like you've always been to me. I promise to do whatever I can to lift you up when you are down. I promise to try and make you laugh as much as possible, mostly because have you seen this smile? Wow. I promise to be your personal chef, time and energy permitting, of course. I promise to try my best to listen to you when you need someone to vent to. I promise to never, watch our recorded shows without you. I also promise to never stop dating you. And mostly I promise to be a loving and faithful husband. I love you.
Ryan, the first time we met, it never crossed my mind we'd be standing here today. We were years in the making, spending the majority of our time in the friend zone. But deep down, I knew there was something special about you. And every time I was around you, that feeling grew stronger, like I was being pulled towards you. You're the type of person that people want to be around. You're funny, charismatic, charming, always down to have a good time. But it wasn't until I really got to know you that I learned just how incredibly loving, thoughtful, and endlessly supportive you are.
I saw you again for the first time tonight, defying silence, not like echoes, the ghosts that we've been. We are no longer there.
You make me feel loved in ways I never knew possible. You make me smile more and laugh harder than I ever thought possible. I've never been more myself with you, and I've never felt more accepted for being that person than I do with you. I promise to love you for the rest of my life, and to tell you I love you every day for the rest of your life. Yeah. I promise to never break your trust. I promise to always consider your feelings and to put our relationship first. I promise to always have Reese's or some form of peanut butter product in the house. I promise to not only listen to you, but to hear what you have to say. I promise to apologize in the very extremely rare event that I'm wrong. I promise to give you all the chin scratches and to work on closing the dresser drawers. I promise to be your biggest cheerleader when celebrating the highs and to be your comfort when going through the lows. I promise to never stop dating you. Anyone that knows me knows how indecisive I can be. The only decision I've ever made without question or hesitation is my decision to marry you. If we could not only survive, but thrive in the first year of our relationship in a lockdown, during a global pandemic, in a 400 square foot studio apartment with no door, I'm pretty confident we can tackle anything thrown our way. You told me at Stagecoach you had butterflies while talking to me. Well, I'm standing here with those same butterflies reading these vows to you. We may not be perfect, but we're perfect for each other. You're the love of my life and my best friend, and now I can't wait to be your wife and spend forever with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my great pleasure to present for the very first time Mr. and Mrs. Ryan and Jenny Annenson.
Jen and I have been through a lot together, and I've always been able to count on her by my side through everything. Whether it was silly drama growing up, graduations, life accomplishments, both personal and professional, family vacations in Florida, or getting stranded in the middle of nowhere in Alaska. She's always been my biggest cheerleader and my #1 supporter. We know we'll get the support of one another no matter how crazy we sound. We also know we'll tell each other if in fact we are being completely irrational. So we have one-of-a-kind relationship or one-of-a-kind bond, and there's no other person I'd happily share my best friend with than Ryan. I remember when she first told me about you, I get to that. I remember when she first told me about you and explained how they've been friends for a while now, and it hadn't been the right time previously, but they're exploring where this thing could go, your relationship could go. And look at you guys now. You're married. The excitement you had when you were telling me about him told me that he was going to be the one. I basically knew right away, and especially when I met you for the first time. The love that you guys showed just being in the room with you guys, the love that you had for each other was completely apparent to the entire room. I'm gonna cry. It was incredible, and I see even more love now than I did back then. Ryan, thank you for loving her the way you do and making her as happy as she is. I can't wait to grow old as the 4 best friends.
She always starts out a little quiet to me, but then warms up, and she's the life of the party. And somehow always gets me to do Jameson pickleback shots. I'm like, what's going on? Why me? Every time. In all seriousness though, Jenny, you compliment Ryan so well. I have never seen him like this, and it's so wonderful. Like honestly, when I was standing up there during the wedding, it was beautiful. I was listening to his speech, I'm like, who's this guy? I don't know this guy. And then watching the way you were smiling at him the whole time, I was like, I should have a GoPro so everybody else can see my view right now. It was beautiful. So let's now talk about Ryan a little bit, dive into our history. And it's a long one. We met back in the late 80s. I would give you an exact day, but I can't remember. It's a lifelong time ago. We had a small group of friends when we were little kids. We called ourselves the Bad Boys Club. We did, we sure did. Throughout elementary school and junior high, we were like 2 peas in a pod. And every time we get together, it still feels the same. Right? It's just easy with him. It's always been that way, and it always will be, no matter what. Being Ryan's best friend, it's been a great gift to me, a great gift. And it's come with a bonus in having a second family. Gary and Sandy, amazing parents, and they've parented me just as much as him. Along with that came his brothers, Shane. He's been a great big brother and someone to look up to. And well, Chase, I think we can all say we're just glad you shaved your mustache, bud. But, being part of the family means every time Ryan got punished for something, that means I got punished as well. Sandy. If it wasn't ditching, Kids Club? Yeah, we thought we weren't ditching, but I guess we ditched. We ditched Kids Club to go to the park. Or if it was getting in trouble with the cops for TPing when we didn't actually TP anything. We just had a backpack full of toilet paper. Throughout high school, we went to different schools, but we were still together all the time. We were only towns away, and towns to us is 5 minutes away. After we graduated, Ryan moved down to Southern California. I went to the military for 8 years, and it was still like we weren't apart. We were always together, like phone calls. It was like 99% of our phone conversations start with 2 a.m. from Guam. Yeah, 2 a.m. from Guam. Call them on deployments. But it's every time though, it's dude. Next reply is sub, bro. It's still like that to this day. He's been there for my worst days, and he's been there for my best days. And the morning my son was born, he's the first person I called in the morning. 5 a.m. I was like, we're on our way to the hospital, And pretty sure he even got there before I did. I was just like, how'd you do that? Yeah, I was just like, But I mean, he's the kind of guy that's kind enough to bring me coffee, when my kid's being born. It only took me a few sips, though, to realize why that coffee tasted like beer. I was just like, coffee runs all day after that. But he was there all day, all night, maybe too late. I was just like, dude, can you go home now? I was a little jealous. I was like, he held my son more than I did, but it's grown in well. It's been amazing to watch him be not just my best friend, but a great uncle to my son. But that's the kind of man Ryan is, though. I mean, he's funny, he's charming, he's passionate about the people he loves, and especially about the 49ers. He may eat too much peanut butter sometimes. But all around, he's a great man and even the greatest friend. And I'm honored to be your best man. I'm so happy that you and Jenny found each other. I couldn't never imagine you happier than you are now. Our friendship has been 30 plus years, and I can't wait for the next 30 years with Jenny right by your side. I love you both. And one more time, let's give it up for the new Mr. and Mrs. Anderson.
Guys, every single one of you, this means the world to us. To have this many people here in one room to share this moment with us means the absolute world. This has been a long ride to get here. I can only imagine what you've had to go through the last couple of weeks, this wedding planning, and thank you for everything. You did a good job.